to 1911, Galton was Charles Darwin's cousin, who amplified on one of the theory's logical conclusions. He declared that the science of eugenics was the key to humanity's problems, put the weak, infirm, and aged to sleep. Adolf Hitler, an ardent evolutionist, used it successfully in World War II. Otto Scott playing Gott in Chalcedon Report number 247, February 8, 1968, page 1. Wallace break with Darwin. Darwin's close friend Russell Wallace eventually separated from Darwin's position, a position he given Darwin when one realized that the human brain was far too advanced for an evolutionary process to have produced it. Lawrence C. Easley, Was Darwin Wrong About the Human Brain? Harper's Magazine, 1955. Herbert Spencer, 1820-1903, along with certain other men, Friedrich Nietzsche, Karl Marx, and Sigmund Freud, John Dewey, introduced evolutionary modes of morality into social fields, sociology, psychology, education, welfare, economics, with devastating effects on the 20th century. Spencer, also a spiritist, was the one who initially invented the term evolution. R. Milner, Encyclopedia of Evolution, 1990, page 159. Spencer introduced sociology into Europe, clothing it in evolutionary terms. From there it travelled to America. He urged that the unfit be eliminated so society could properly evolve. Harvey E. Barnes, Historical Sociology, 1948, 13. In later years, even the leading evolutionists of the time, such as Huxley and Darwin, became tired of the fact that Spencer could do nothing but theorize and knew so little of real-life facts. The Archaeopteryx, 1861 to 1877. These consisted of several fossils from a single limestone quarry in Germany, each of which the quarry owner sold at high price. One appeared to possibly be a small dinosaur skeleton, complete with wings and feathers. European museums paid high prices for them, as well as we will learn below. In 1985, the Archaeopteryx was shown to be a fake. Ernest Haeckel, in 1834 to 1990, a teacher at the University of Jena in Germany, was the most zealous advocate of Darwinism on the continent in the 19th century. He drew a number of fraudulent charts, first published in 1868, which purported to show that embryos were almost identical to those of other animals. Reputable scientists repudiated them within a few years, for embryologists recognized the deceit. See Chapter 16, Vestiges and Recapitulation, on our website for the charts. Darwin and Haeckel had a strong influence on the rise of world communism. Daniel Geisman, Scientific Origins of National Socialism, Social Darwinism in Ernest Haeckel and the German Monist League, 1971. March Horde Series, 1870. Othniel C. March claimed to have found 30 different kinds of horse fossils in Wyoming and Nebraska. He reconstructed and arranged them in a small to large evolutionary series, which was never in a straight line. Encyclopedia Britannica, 1976, volume 7, page 13. Although displayed in museums for a time, the great majority of scientists later repudiated this horse series. Charles Depper, Transformations of the Animal World, page 105. J. Ed Kukut, Implications of Evolution, 1960, page 149. Friedrich Nietzsche, 1844-1900. Nietzsche was a remarkable example of a man who fully adopted Darwinian principles. He wrote books declaring that the way to evolve was to have wars and kill the weaker races in order to produce a super race. T. Walter Wollbank, Alston, M. Taylor, Civilization, Past and Present, Volume 2, 1949, page 274. Darwin, in Origin of Species, also said that this needed to happen. The writings of both men were read by German militarists and led to World War I. Hitler valued both Darwin's and Nietzsche's books. When Hitler killed 6 million Jews, he was only doing what Darwin taught. It is of interest that a year before he defended John Scopes' right to teach Darwinianism at the Dayton monkey trial, Clarence Darrow declared in court that the murderous thinking of 2 young men was by their having learned Nietzsche's vicious Darwinism in the public schools. W. Brigham classified speeches. Asa Gray was the first leading theistic evolutionary advocate in America at the time when Darwin was writing in his books. Gray, a Presbyterian, worked closely with Charles W. Eliot, president of Harvard, in promoting evolution as Christian teaching, yet teaching long ages and the book of Genesis as fable. The Challenger was a British ship dispatched to find evidence on the ocean bottom of evolutionary change. During its 1872 to 1876 voyage, it carried on seafloor dredging but found no fossils developing on the bottom of the ocean. By this time, it was obvious to evolutionists that no fossils were developing on either land or sea, yet they kept quiet about the matter. Over the years, theories, hoaxes, false claims, and ridiculous favoring evolution were spread abroad, but facts refuting it when found were kept hidden. Karl Marx, 1818-1883, is closely linked with Darwinism. That which Darwin did to biology, Marx, with the help of others, did to society. All the worst political philosophies of the 20th century emerged from the dark cave of Darwinianism. Marx was thrilled when he read Origins of Species, and he immediately wrote Darwin and asked to dedicate his own major work, Dis Capital, to him. Darwin, in his reply, thanked him but said it would be best not to do so. In 1866, Karl Marx wrote to Friedrich Engels that Origin of the Species contained the basis in natural history for their political and economic system for an atheist world. Engels, the co-founder of world communism with Marx and Lenin, wrote to Karl Marx in 1856, Darwin, who I am just now reading, is splendid. See Zirkel, Evolution, Marxian Biology and the Social Scene, 1959. Page 85. In 1861, Marx to Engels, Darwin's book is very important and serves me as a basis in natural selection for the class struggle in history. At Marx's funeral, Engels said that as Darwin had discovered the law of organic evolution in natural history, so Marx had discovered the law of evolution in human history. Otto Ruth, Karl Marx, 1948, page 366. As Darwin emphasized competitive survival as the key to advancement, so communism focused on the value of labor rather than the laborer. Like Darwin, Karl Marx thought he had discovered the law of development. He saw history in stages as the Darwinians saw geological strata and successive forms of life. William Grant Sumner, 1840-1910, applied evolutionary principles to political economics at Yale University. He taught many of America's future businesses and industrial leaders that strong business succeed and the weak perish. Millionaires in the fittest. Modern laissez-faire capitalism was the result. Gilman M. Ostrander, The Evolutionary Outlook, 1875, 1900, 1971, page 5. William James, 1842-1910, was another evolutionist who influenced American thinking. His view of psychology placed the study of human behavior on an animalistic evolutionary basis. Tidal hypothesis theory. George Darwin, son of Charles Darwin, wanted to come up with something original, so he invented the theory that 4 million years ago the moon was pressed nearly against the earth, which resolved every 5 hours. Then one day a heavy tide occurred in the ocean, which lifted it out of its present location. Later, proponents of George's theory decided that the Pacific Basin is the whole